Hello, NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of The Rundown. On this week's show, we'll highlight some of the fall sports action from around the North Coast Athletic Conference for the week ending on Sunday, September the 27th. Let's kick off this week's show out on the golf links and celebrate the recent success of the DePauw golf programs as they earned the clean sweep of this week's NCAC Golfer of the Week awards. On the men's side, the Tigers competed in a pair of events last week, first traveling to Mississippi for the Rhodes Fall Collegiate Classic at Tunica National, before hosting its own Dan Quayle Collegiate Classic last weekend at Twin Bridges Golf Club in Danville, Indiana. The Tigers tied for second with Hanover in the final team standings of their own home event with 630 strokes, and were led by this week's NCAC Men's Golfer of the Week award winner, junior Quinn Smith. Smith carded back-to-back rounds of 77 on the par 72, 7,058-yard course to finish third overall in the individual standings with a two-day total of 154. And after posting two second-place finishes earlier this season, the DePauw women's golf team finally broke through with a team championship last weekend at the Illinois Wesleyan Fall Classic. The Tigers edged out Indiana Tech by 2 strokes for the team title with a two-day score of 608, which included an opening round 309 and an impressive 299 on Sunday. In all, DePauw placed 3 individual golfers in the top 10, led by freshman Rachel Miller, who collected the NCAC Women's Golfer of the Week honor after finishing in a 3-way tie for first place with a 149 on the par 72, 5,835-yard Ironwood golf course. Miller found herself outside the top 5 following round 1 after posting a 77, but she launched up the scoreboard on day 2 with an even par 72. NCAC golf squads return to the course this weekend with several events on the schedule, led by Worcester hosting all 7 league teams on the women's side for the Eva Shorb Weiskopf Invitational at Worcester Country Club, and the Allegheny and Kenyon men's teams traveling to Westminster, Maryland for the Mason-Dixon Collegiate Classic. And we'll now turn our attention to the NCAC field hockey action as we had a battle of unbeaten squads take the field on Sunday afternoon in Gambier. Kenyon and DePauw both entered the contest with perfect 4-0 records against league foes. But something had to give. The ladies controlled the pace of the game on the offensive side of the ball as they outshot the Tigers by a 23-8 margin, sending 12 of those 23 shots on goal. DePauw goalie Sarah Gwender was able to stop 11 of the shots, but KC finally broke through late in the second half as senior Maddie Bresci fired this shot near goal, only to have it deflected into the back of the net by freshman Abby Roswell for the game's lone goal. The ladies, who now hold a 1-game lead over both DePauw and Denison in the NCAC standings, will host the Big Red on Thursday at 5 p.m. for their lone contest of the week. And finally, we'll close out this week's show on the gridiron by highlighting now 8th-ranked Wabash's impressive 42-14 victory over league rival and nationally ranked Wittenberg. The Little Giants held a narrow 21-14 advantage after 3 quarters of play, but they were able to put the game away in the fourth quarter with 21 unanswered points, which included an interception return for a touchdown by this week's NCAC Defensive Player of the Week selection, sophomore Brian Parks. The Wabash offense also got a breakout performance from junior running back Shamir Johnson, who racked up 98 yards on 18 carries and 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, while Parks also pulled down 2 additional interceptions in the game to go along with tallying 1 assisted tackle and 5 solo stops. And in addition, we did learn early Tuesday morning that Parks was also named to this week's D3Football.com Team of the Week for his outstanding performance. There are 5 league games on the schedule again this week, highlighted by Ohio Wesleyan hosting arch rival Denison at 1 p.m. on Saturday at Selby Stadium. And as always, NCAC sports fans, for up-to-date news, stats, and standings from around the North Coast Athletic Conference, you can visit our website at www.northcoast.org. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at NCAC, as well as like us on Facebook. Well, that puts a wrap on this week's show, but be sure to join us again next week for another edition of The Rundown.